What is going on, AADA Nation? Welcome back to Dapp Central. My name is Fareed, and in today's video, I've got some brief updates here and some highlights surrounding Cardano. Now, what I want to do first off is touch on the weekly Cardano development report, which was just released by the Cardano Foundation. Second, I want to jump into some updates surrounding the TVL and the cumulative commits here surrounding the top networks. And then I want to jump into some updates surrounding Infinity Pools and their recent partnership with the Charlie 3 platform, which will be bringing staking for the C3 token and the Charlie Cuties NFT collection. Following that, I want to highlight an upcoming Twitter space with Cinnamon Bun, which will be taking place next week. And then I also want to touch on AADA Finance and their complete rise here of their TVL, which has now surpassed 8 million AADA. In closing of today's Cardano Scoop, I want to touch on the Indigo protocol and their monthly stats, as well as a brand new feature allowing you to see historical liquidations. Now, if it's your first time stopping by the channel, my goal here is to provide you guys in the community with the latest news, tutorials, and reviews. If you guys want to support me here on this channel when it comes to educating the broader Cardano community, then consider delegating with the official Dapp Central stake pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. I really do appreciate all of your support. Jumping into the very first topic here that I want to touch on for today's video, I want to review the monthly on-chain stats released by the Cardano Foundation. Now, starting on the right-hand side of the screen there, we've got a total of 8.2 million native tokens, which is going to be an increase of 1.54% compared to April. We've also got an increase of about 2.5% when it comes to transactions, currently sitting at about 65.6 million, followed by wallets breaking a key milestone of 4 million wallets on the network, which is an increase of about 1.2% compared to last month. Now, in terms of delegated wallets, that has stayed stagnant, at least compared to last month, with about 1.28 million wallets currently staking, with the Pluto scripts increasing about 3.53%, where we now have about 5,400 smart contracting scripts. On the left-hand side of the screen there, when it comes to the different types of transactions taking place on Cardano, 30% of those will be based off of smart contracts, with 49% of them being considered as simple transactions, with the remaining 21% being metadata specific transactions without the use of smart contracts. Jumping into the next tab here, I want to briefly touch on the Cardano TVL. So coming in at number one, and this is going to be a platform that's been at number one, I believe, since their initial liquidity launch on the network, is going to be MinSwap. So they're now sitting at about $52 million in terms of TVL. Now, with about half of that amount, we've got Indigo coming in at number two with a slight decrease over the course of the last 7 days. And then at number three, we've got Wing Riders with $18 million currently locked on their platform. Now, between Wing Riders at number three, Liquid at number four, and Jet at number five, they're all really kind of battling it out right now for that third spot, with really only about $3 million worth of TVL between the three of them. Coming in number six, we've got the MuesliSwap platform, which is now working on governance with a total of $8.9 million locked. And then we've got SundaySwap, which has just released their V2 version of their protocol, followed by Optum Finance, AADA, Lending Pond, which has actually taken a pretty big hit here over the course of the last few days, losing more than 44% of their TVL, and then Fluid Tokens coming in with $165,000, increasing by about 3.6%. Again, looking at the right-hand side there, when it comes to the entire ecosystem, we've got about $152 million currently locked as of May 4th, which has continued to increase since the beginning of this year. Again, the DeFi space has really been booming here over the course of the past 2 to 3 months, given the fact that we now have Liquid online. We've now got the support of Jet, which I believe is also going to be added to the Milkamada C1 sidechain going forward. So not only will you be able to interact with Jet on Cardano or the Cardano network, but you'll also be able to use it on the Milkamada sidechain. Now, the next update I want to touch on is going to be the fact that Cardano is coming in at number one when it comes to daily cumulative code commits with a total of 106. Coming in at number two and number three, we have Kusama and Polkadot with 75 of the daily code commits, followed by Internet Computer Protocol and Ethereum with a number of about 57 all the way through 65 daily cumulative code commits. Now, after those, we've got a ton of other blockchains ranging from anywhere between 18 and 35 daily cumulative code commits. To put this into perspective, this basically means that the Cardano community is continuing to build during the bear market, regardless of where the price action is right now. I personally think that as the bull run kicks off, the closer that we get to the Bitcoin halving, this is really going to show off in the sense that we're going to see a lot more adoption and a lot more utility coming into the ecosystem, given the fact that we've got so much going on here in terms of building. The next update I want to touch on is going to be the fact that we now have an official Hydra head opening up on the Cardano mainnet. So a huge congratulations to IOHK and all the developers that have been working tirelessly to make Hydra happen. If you guys are not familiar with Hydra, it's going to be a layer 2 protocol, basically allowing Cardano to scale up to 1 million transactions per second. So it reads here from the official input-output Twitter, Hydra is a family of layer 2 protocols designed to make Cardano more scalable and adaptable for various use cases that require fast and cheap transactions. They're excited to announce that the first Hydra head has recently opened up on the mainnet. Now, I'm not going to play this video here, but we do have a developer basically breaking down exactly what we can expect from Hydra moving forward, especially as they begin to roll out additional updates. Now, jumping over into this next tab, I've got a brief video here from Colin, who's going to be a developer collaborating with the Hydra team, basically demoing what we have here as a sample payment of what we can expect, again, using Hydra. And so, as I mentioned before, Hydra is going to be a layer 2 scaling solution, which will basically allow for protocols to open up their own Hydra heads, which basically allows for them to take their transactions and have them all be done on the layer 2. And then once they're verified, they can then send them back down to the layer 1 network in order to be verified on the Cardano blockchain. So this is going to be a huge upgrade here for Cardano, again, helping us to push up to, I believe, 1 million transactions per second compared to, I believe, what Ethereum is currently doing right now, which is anywhere between 29 to 30 transactions per second. So in terms of scalability and adoption, this is going to be a feature that we've been waiting on for quite a bit of time, and it's now looking closer and closer to really becoming a reality. That is going to do it there for our very first set of updates surrounding Cardano and the recent launch of the very first Hydra head on the mainnet. Next, I want to jump into some updates surrounding Infinity Pools, which is going to be an on-chain staking platform building on Cardano. Now, if you guys missed my introductory video surrounding Infinity Pools, I'll leave the link to it down below. But they're basically going to be bringing on-chain staking using smart contracts and a really cool method here to involve the community. Now, the key highlights that I want to touch on is going to be the fact that they have now partnered up with Charlie 3, which is going to be an Oracle platform building on Cardano. So as a part of this collaboration, you'll be able to stake your C3 cuties or your C3 NFTs, as well as your C3 tokens, in order to be able to earn up to a 30% ROI on the initial mint price of the NFT. So that'll be about 24 AADA return for every NFT that you lock up. But keep in mind that depending on the rarity of the NFT, you have to lock up a different amount. Now, the next thing I want to touch on too is going to be the fact that the Infinity Pools team will also be making an appearance on the Real Talk show hosted by Cinnamon Bun. Now, this will be taking place on May 9th, or this upcoming Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. As a part of this Twitter space, they're going to be talking about what exactly Infinity Pools is. And if you guys have any questions from the community, then feel free to join this Twitter space in order to get those asked or in order to get those answered. Now, this team, again, is going to be doing their rounds when it comes to influencer collaborations, kind of touching on some of the top and the biggest voices within Cardano. So expect more of these to pop up in the near future. And I'm definitely going to be doing my best here to shout them out and, again, give them support, given the fact that they're building and bringing a brand new platform with a brand new approach over into Cardano. Jumping over into the next story here for today's Cardano Scoop, I want to touch on the fact that the TVL for AADA Finance has now passed over or surpassed 8 million AADA tokens currently locked on their platform. This team has been doing an amazing job here over the course of the past few weeks with their recent announcement that they're going to be moving away from their peer-to-peer model over into a peer-to-pool model. In addition to that, they've also confirmed that they're going to be taking advantage of Icon, which will help them to simplify their smart contract development process. If I jump over into DeFi Llama, I really want to put this into perspective for you guys here following updates on AADA Finance. Now, they initially launched on Cardano as one of the first DeFi protocols in around the September timeline, which here we can see that at the very beginning of their platform launch, they only had a total of $100,000 US locked on the platform. That was about the same amount that we saw leading all the way up into about the beginning of 2023, where they had doubled their TVL to about $221,000. So while it was an increase, it wasn't that much of an increase. Now, since that time, over the course of the last 4 to 5 months, that has now shot up from about $200,000 all the way to $3 million. So a little bit more than a 10x in terms of TVL coming onto the platform. This is also translated into a huge price increase in the valuation of the AADA token. So congratulations to all the AADA token holders and all the development teams again supporting this extremely exciting platform as they begin to shift over to their peer-to-pool model. As a part of the last update here surrounding AADA Finance, I want to touch on the Pool Manager NFT, which will be available as a part of their V2 launch. So with AADA version 2.0, the team will be introducing a Pool Manager NFT where its holders can do 2 separate things. Number 1, they'll be able to delegate locked ADA to any stake pool. And then number 2, they'll be able to register a new stake pool. Now, exactly how is this going to work? Well, looking at the image here on the left-hand side, as a user, you'll be able to create a lending pool, very similar to what you can do with a liquidity pool on DEXs, as long as you have enough liquidity to actually fund the pool. Now, once you create a pool, theoretically, others could come right behind you and add their own liquidity into the pool. But once you create that first lending pool, you'll be issued a Pool Manager NFT. Now, given that anybody will be able to create their own lending pool, one thing that has come to mind for me personally is whether or not the AADA Finance team will allow for multiple pools of the same underlying assets to be created. If so, we would have a fragmentation of potential liquidity where we would have a much deeper liquidity pool if all of that was aggregated into one single pool, which would therefore allow for bigger loan requests or loan amounts to be taken out. Now, once you've actually created a lending pool, you're going to be rewarded with a Pool Manager NFT. As a holder of one of these NFTs, you're going to have 2 different abilities. So number 1, you'll be able to control and delegate the ADA locked as a part of that lending pool to any stake pool that you wish. So the holder will be able to control only the deposit and collateral of that particular pool. Number 2, you'll be able to actually register the lending pool. So the holder will now be able to publish any stake certificate, including a stake pool registration and deregistration certificate. Now, having said that, anybody will be able to claim the staking rewards associated with that lending pool. So this is a brand new concept that I have not seen anywhere else. Again, this is going to be coming out as a part of the AADA V2 launch, which we don't right now have a dedicated date for. But as we get closer to it, I'm sure that we're going to get more details surrounding the Pool Manager NFT and exactly what best ways we can leverage this as community. That's going to do it there for updates surrounding AADA Finance. The next and the last topic I want to cover for today's Cardano Scoop is going to be surrounding the Indigo protocol. Now, Indigo is going to be a revolutionary protocol building on Cardano, allowing us to get price exposure to different assets that may not be native to Cardano. As a part of the monthly report, they've just released their stats surrounding April. So let me go ahead and just basically cover some of the highlights here. And then there's going to be one brand new feature that has just come on to the platform that I want to cover as well. Starting off with the TVL currently on Indigo, we've got a total value locked of $28 million between the month of April all the way through May 1st, which translates over into a 16% increase. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Indigo is going to be the second largest platform on Cardano right now, right behind the MinSwap DEX. Breaking down the TVL even further into the top 3 I assets, we've got IUSD with $19 million, or about a 14% increase, IBTC with about a 12% increase, and then IETH with about a 30% increase over the course of the last month. Jumping down into the I asset market cap, instead of the total value locked, we've got a total market cap of $14 million, which is an increase of 23%. Breaking that down even further into the three I asset categories, we have IUSD gaining a market cap amount of about 21%. We've got IBTC gaining about 18%, and then IETH gaining about 35%. In terms of open collateralized debt positions, that has also seen an increase of about 17%, where we now have over 702 of those falling into IUSD, 328 of those falling into IBTC, and then 272 of those falling into IETH. In terms of their Indy circulating supply, we now have over 4.5 million Indy tokens currently in circulation, with more than 893 in terms of Indy stakers. Now, I want to highlight here that the total amount of tokens that will ever be made available is about 35 or 36 million of the Indy tokens. So they now have a little bit over 10% currently circulating in terms of their supply. In terms of their average LP staking APR, which again, you have to divide by 12, we have IUSD earning a cool 4%. We've got IBTC earning a 28%. And then we've got IETH earning about 24% in terms of APR. That's going to do it there for the updates here surrounding the Indigo protocol stats. The very last thing I want to touch on today is going to be the fact that they now have an update to allow for us to see historical liquidation. So it reads here, the wait is now over. Historical liquidations are now available for viewing on the revamped CDP page. Jumping over into the official Indigo app, which is available at app.indigoprotocol.io, we can quickly verify all of the open collateralized debt positions. Using the filter asset dropdown, we can filter by any of the three I assets, which include IBTC, IETH, and IUSD. On top of that, if you want to sort the CDPs, you can do so by collateral ratio, risk of liquidation, collateral amount, or the total value of the CDP. Now, keep in mind that the different I assets will have different collateral ratios or amounts that they get liquidated at. And so, for example, IUSD will get liquidated at a collateral ratio of 120%, whereas IBTC and IETH will get liquidated at a collateral ratio of 110%. Now, one thing that I do want to touch on here is going to be that brand new tab, which is going to be the liquidations tab. So from here, we can see all the liquidations that have taken place on the Indigo protocol based off of the different collateralized debt positions. Now, by default, it shows me the latest ones occurring on the platform, which we saw one occurring yesterday on May 5th, where we had an IETH collateralized debt position with a collateral of 70,000 AADA get liquidated. If you want to filter the different liquidations by the I asset, you can quickly do so. So for example, if I select IUSD here, I can see all of the IUSD liquidations that have taken place on the Indigo protocol. Now, keep in mind that if you want to earn from these liquidations, all you need to do is go ahead and provide liquidity into the stability pools. And if you guys want more information surrounding exactly how this works, I've got a fully dedicated tutorial on the channel. That is going to bring me to a close here for today's video, in which we've touched on the Cardano developments, which include the recent launch of the Hydra head on Mainnet, Infinity Pools and their upcoming collaborations with different content creators, as well as Charlie 3, as well as AADA Finance breaking the 8 million ADA total value marked. And then we've got the Indigo protocol, in which we've reviewed their monthly stats and their historical liquidation feature, which is now available on the Mainnet. If you guys found today's update here to be helpful or insightful in any way, shape, or form, I would really appreciate it if you guys could tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by on the channel and you want more content just like this, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for me about anything that we've touched on today, then make sure to leave a comment down below. That said, as always, I will see you guys in the next video.